Hello class, and welcome to your week 4 team assignment. This week's WES, Wind Energy Systems assignment for you is going to be to create a business scorecard and then put together some KPIs. Now that sounds very simple when we say it like that, but there's a lot of moving parts. So what I want to do is I want to walk you through all of the components that are going to be required for you to complete this assignment. Ultimately, what you will be submitting, or the team leader will be submitting, is 2 completed spreadsheets that'll contain a lot of different information. So each week we've been building upon the previous week. So we started with vision and mission and purpose. We drove down into strategy. From strategy we've gone into goals and objectives. And now from goals and objectives we're going to drive down into a aligned, and I use the word aligned because that means that strategically everything lines up, an aligned business scorecard. Now, let's go ahead and take a quick peek at what I've got laid out for you in the module. So you'll be able to see that the purpose is identified from 2 different perspectives. Part A is going to be putting together that business balanced scorecard, and then Part 2 or Part B is going to be putting together the KPI matrix. So the first thing I need you to do is go ahead and pull down the instructions. The instructions are in a Word document. I'll go ahead and pull that up, and you'll see that I give you clear definition as to what's required. I give you a snapshot of the template that you're going to be creating for Part A, which is going to be that business balance scorecard, and you'll see that there are 4 different elements to it: customer, financial, internal processes, and the employee. And what you're going to do is you're going to go back and you're going to make sure that you've got a very aligned business strategy associated with each one of those. So for customer, you follow the directions, follow the instructions to get a business strategy that's aligned associated with it. You will document what the goal is, you'll document what the objective is, you'll document what the measurement is, and then you will document what the target is. And you will need to create that for all 4 of these strategies. So 4 strategies, and you're going to have to create 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 different cells associated with it for that particular template. We're going to go into more instructions in a little bit, but I want to give you then the ability to see that we're going to move into a sample. So here's a sample of what one would look like. So here's a sample template of a business balance scorecard. Then you're going to put together KPIs, and these KPIs are going to be directly linked to the strategies you created previously. So you'll see that you've got a matrix on the side, once again, for customer, financial, internal processes, and employee, and you will be responsible for designing and developing two KPIs for each one of these areas. And we have templates for you along with information on the basic information for the type of not only qualitative but quantitative, leading, lagging, input indicators, process indicators, output. We've given you a really good solid explanation as to what we're looking for. We talk about in the KPIs how they must be actionable. You must describe what, how much, by when, and a KPI statement. So the first thing I want to do is I want to make sure that you jump on back, and you'll see that I also tell you to go review 2 different PowerPoints. So there's a PowerPoint presentation that I've created for each one of these. It has additional information for you, and it explains a little bit more about the assignments from a 10,000-foot level. What is a business balance scorecard? What is a business KPI? And why would we want to develop them? And we've got 2 different PowerPoints set up for you. So let's go ahead and just take a peek at the first one, which is the balance scorecard one. We give you information on what a balance scorecard is, a business balance scorecard, why it's there, the customer, financial, internal processes, and employee major areas that we talked about. We show you how they're aligned. We give you information on what a strategy would look like if we were integrating these together. So you start looking at an interconnected strategy, what that would look like. We give you what I'll call it the strategy map would look like once you put text into it, and then if you were to then integrate, how you would put that text in to make sure that you were integrating these together. So this is just a strategy map, and we talk about the integration of it. because when you're done, you're going to have this type of, I'll call it developed strategy for your scorecard. You can see the financial, customer, learning and growth, and internal processes areas are all interlinked. You can't just say that I'm looking and reviewing one. We suggest that you try to keep in mind that you're tying all four of these together. This strategy, this scorecard model really gives you the ability to focus and cover all the areas of the company. So we talk about what exactly is the financial perspective. I give you an example of that. I talk about the customer perspective. What is an example of that? I talk about the internal processes, once again, examples, and then the learning and growth perspective, which is the employee, the people side of it. I then give you that sample that we showed you again. So here's that sample of what one, when completed, would look like. Now, that covers the first part of the business balance scorecard. You're going to be required to go in, and there is, I'm going to pull it up now, an Excel spreadsheet that's created for you. You will be responsible for filling out all of the information in here. So I need a strategy. I then need you to describe what is the goal, what is it you wanted to accomplish, the objective, the target, and the measurements. And you need this for all of these as it calls out in the instructions. This is what is going to be submitted to me. There are points associated with each cell. If you do not complete the entire template, you will not get full credit. Now let's look at the second piece of it. So that was part A. The next piece is going to be the KPI development. So once again, I have a KPI PowerPoint for you that walks through exactly what key KPIs are. You know, why do we want to create KPIs? It gives you information on, you get what you measure. What should we be measuring? What should we be looking for? What's important to us? Measure what's valid for your organization. So look at the WES organization, say what's valid for us to measure. Measuring things that are nonsensical, it's, you know, like saying, well, let's measure how many times a day people, you know, use the phone. That's, as a performance indicator, that may have absolutely nothing to do with what you're doing, unless you're in sales and you're measuring sales contacts. So you get what you measure, remember that, and benchmark. When you're creating KPIs, you're actually going to look at benchmarking your KPIs against other companies. What do other companies measure? If you're in a car industry, what is Toyota or BMW? What do they measure? What are their benchmarks? If you're in a, depending on the type of company you're in, look for other aligned companies. So WES is a wind energy system company. There are 4 or 5 other companies out there that are identical in the products they make and the things that they provide as far as services. Look those up, review those so that you can find out what is it they measure. You want to benchmark against people who are the best of the best. The next thing is bring people into the discussion. So make sure everybody on the team is involved, but if you're putting together KPIs, remember that the people that are impacted by the KPIs, the people that get told, hey, I'm going to measure you against this, need to be involved in that conversation. You need to get buy-in from the right people. And the other thing is, there are a ton of KPIs out there. You can look and there's probably a list of 100 to 200 depending on what website you go to. So there are way too many KPIs to measure everything. Look for the things that are important for you. So once again, the top 3 key performance indicator, go-aways are going to be involve the users, clarify the intended purpose. How and when will these be used? And don't forget that KPI measurement is a process, so keep it simple. The result is more important than the tool, and this is not some sort of, high-performance techie solution to understanding what's happening. This is a valid measurement of where your organization is moving. Now, I've given you a list of 25 key performance indicators. You need to take a peek at this. WES may be valid to use any of these, depending on which one you think is valid for you. You can also go off, and like I said, there are hundreds of them out there. Pick ones that are valid for you. Now, when you're putting a KPI together, there's a couple things that you want to know. One is, so how many KPIs should you have? Never more than 5 to 8. And all KPIs are not equal. They must be actionable. And by actionable, I mean the 5 signs of a useless KPI are: 1, it's not descriptive; 2, there's no action; 3, it lacks context; 4, the users are unclear of why I'm being measured against this, why use it; and the 5th one is that it's hard to visualize. You need to be able to visualize and see, if I'm being measured against this, why. So I've got an example for you in here on how to create a great key performance indicator. The what, how much, and when, and then I've got information for you that shows you how to put a sample KPI together. Now, once you've reviewed these 2 PowerPoints, don't forget now you've got the next spreadsheet that you have to put together. This is the KPI template in Excel. Once again, you will have 2 different, I'll call it KPIs, that you have to create all the way across all the information. Let me just grab this and move it over here, because the big thing is you have to create a KPI statement. And you'll see what a statement looks like, but that statement gives you an understanding of how you will measure this. You'll integrate all this together: the action, the what, the how much, by when, and a KPI statement. And you have 8 of these that you're required to put together. So don't forget, all of these cells that I've highlighted here need to be completed, all of them, for you to get full credit in this assignment. Now, let me just move this back over here for a second. I want you to know that I've got a grading rubric for you in here, and it shows you that this assignment is worth 50 points. You must submit the 2 Excel spreadsheets. The first one is going to cover these 4 different components. So the business strategy, the financial strategy, internal process strategy, employee strategy, that's worth 20 points. The KPIs, you've got customer KPIs, financial KPIs, internal processes, and employee KPIs. And you're required to put 2 of those together. They're worth 7.5 points each. So the total for this assignment is 50 points. This is really, really a solid, I'll call it foundational step for you as you continue evolving the WES company for us. So congratulations. If you've got any problems, feel free to contact me. Make sure you review the instruction sheet, which is that Word template. Review the PowerPoints, and then make sure you use the templates that we've provided for you. Have a great week. Goodbye.